session is another exciting topic, GitHub Copilot for developers everywhere. So this topic will be presented by Mr. Janarthan, and he's one of the experienced software engineer. And GitHub Copilot I'm also using for a while. I know its benefit. It is quite a handy tool for any developer. Uh, because it will write the code for you, the one earlier Satya presented. Like, it will write code for you. You just need to give him the explanation, or you can write the comment, or even it can generate the document for your code. So this is one of exciting topic. Let's see from Janathan. Yeah, Janathan, you maybe you can share your screen, and you can continue.
I hope my screen is visible, Rajwa.
Yes, we can see your screen, and I'm making you live with your video.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just make a content ready for you. Yeah, so you are live now. You may start your presentation. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Rizwan and Satya, for providing me the opportunity to present the GitHub Copilot for developers everywhere. And I would like to thank the Cloud Experts group community as well as .NET Girl community for this wonderful opportunity, as well as the platform me to present. So the topic about is how will you able to use the GitHub Copilot for the developers everywhere? And we will experience the power of pair programming. So with this, so myself, Janarthanan Selvaraj. So I'm a technical manager as well as senior specialist at Evident. So and I'm Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm a global speaker for the AI as well as the global Azure communities. So I used to write blogs as well as articles in C# Corner, and so I'm a multi-cloud certified professional. So these are my few achievements related to my certifications. So let's get started into the agenda part. The actual agenda of today's session is about the GitHub Copilot architecture, how to install GitHub Copilot, how this GitHub Copilot is going to improve your code workflow, prompt engineering, and what are the best practices of prompt engineering. And finally, we will discuss about the GitHub Copilot pricing model. So the GitHub Copilot is one of the artificial intelligence tool where it exhibits the feature of collective ownership. When I say collective ownership, it's about the code ownership. So there are two roles exist in the pair programming world. One is called the driver role. The other role is called as navigator. So usually the driver and navigator used to share the common workstation or a platform. Then the driver will be playing the role of writing the code, and the navigator is the one who is going to review the code. So these two roles often switch each others. So this will automatically improvises the code collective ownership. In the same manner, your everyday AI companion in the Copilot world is the GitHub Copilot. And this GitHub Copilot exhibits the feature of AI pair programming. Okay. And this GitHub Copilot, it is developed by the GitHub, and it is powered by the OpenAI community with the help of the Codex model. So Codex model, what we used to perform, we used to generate and understand the natural language prompt into code generation. And this GitHub Copilot, you may able to use in most of the integrated development, which is a code editors, we may able to use it. So the major features of GitHub Copilot, what we used to do in the earlier days of coding, we used to familiarize or else we used to master any one of the programming language. It could be Java, Python, C#, .NET, any of the programming language. Then in order to understand the programming language, we used to comment the code for better readability. So nowadays, no need to master your any particular language. What we can make use of is you start prompting the comment the comment will be converted into code generation, irrespective of your language conversion has been done. So that's how the GitHub Copilot, you start write the comment. Based upon the comment, the code will be automatically populated as well as generated. So that type of suggestion will use to call it as context aware suggestions, which means your AI tool is assisting you the complete comment, and those comment is converted into code generation. And it is easy to adapt your coding style with help of your GitHub Copilot. And this GitHub Copilot is supporting multiple languages, almost 8 languages, 8 programming languages it is supporting, like Java, .NET, C Sharp, your JavaScript, Python, Go programming, your Ruby on Rails. These are the languages GitHub Copilot is supporting, and frameworks like Angular, React, Vue.js it is supporting by the GitHub Copilot. And this GitHub Copilot continuously learns the comment from the user coding pattern, and it is at the end of the your day, which is always improvise your code productivity if you use GitHub Copilot. And this will automatically enhance the coder's innovation thought process into a live part, which is the power of GitHub Copilot. So with this, we'll move on to the next feature, which is about the GitHub Copilot architecture. As I mentioned earlier, so we have two roles, driver role and navigator role. The driver is going to start writing the code and the navigator is going to review the code. Likewise, the moment you start commenting the comments, and those comments will be converted into your code generation with the help of GitHub Copilot service. And this GitHub Copilot service will be enhanced by the OpenAI Codex model. From the Codex model, whatever the prompt you start writing, those prompt will be converted into code generation. That is the significance of Codex model. So with this GitHub Copilot as a service, this GitHub Copilot option will provide lot of context-aware suggestions. Those context-aware suggestions, whether you can accept those suggestions with the help of some of the shortcut key like insert. If you want to reject some of the suggestions from the Copilot, we can make use of your escape as a shortcut key. And always there is an option to improvise your suggestions, which is suggested by the GitHub Copilot. It is not necessary you have to accept the suggestions. So Copilot, when the Copilot has initially is launched, everyone has started thinking of like whether AI will replace our jobs. AI will not replace your jobs. Rather, it will change the way of work, and it will automatically improve your productivity in terms of enhancing your innovation capability. So these are some of the advantage the moment when you start using Copilot. So for code, we have a code GitHub Copilot generation. For Windows, we have a Windows Copilot. For accessibility, we have accessibility Copilot. For Power BI, you have a Power BI Copilot for the report generation. Microsoft Fabric is having Copilot. Your Power Platform tool is having the Copilot. No code, low code tools is having the Copilot. Everywhere we can see the Copilot. So nowadays, customers are asking whether your application is having the Gen AI capability infused, whether your application is having Copilot feature or not. So these are the two trending features nowadays customer is keenly looking for when it comes to GitHub Copilot. Is GitHub Copilot, is it a magic? The answer is no, it's not a magic. If it is not a magic, then what this GitHub Copilot actually offers? The first, as I mentioned, all manual work, all repetitive tasks will be minimized if you start using GitHub Copilot. This will automatically boost the developer's productivity in terms of saving the time and effort, and will automatically accelerate the innovation towards the code generation capabilities. If I'm not a Java developer, so I need to acquire the skill of Java developer. Rather than acquiring the skill of Java developer, what I can make it is start writing the comments with respect to the Java codes. That code will automatically convert into your comments will automatically convert into code, which will automatically bridge your skill gaps in your GitHub Copilot. This will improve your coding speed of the developer to earn more productivity towards their coding efforts. So these are the silent features. Why do you need a GitHub Copilot? So these are the steps you have to follow when you want to install any GitHub Copilot. The first and foremost thing, start installing the Visual Studio Code Editor. So there's the Visual Studio Code Editor, guys. So once you have installed the Visual Studio Code Editor, which is an open source, after you install it, you have to search for the GitHub Copilot option in the extension tab. In the extension tab, just type GitHub Copilot. You may be able to see the GitHub Copilot extension, install it. Then you have to install if you want to get any comments or any chat option from the GitHub Copilot. There is one more extension called as GitHub Copilot Chat. This will automatically provide some of the documentation features of GitHub Copilot, which will help to improve the developer productivity. So before installing this GitHub Copilot extension, GitHub Copilot Chat, ensure that you have a GitHub Copilot license, which is powered by GitHub Copilot. So how to check that particular license has to be done in the sense, go to the account section, check whether your GitHub account has been installed according with your GitHub Copilot account. Once it is installed, install all the extensions of GitHub Copilot, GitHub Copilot Chat. These two extensions are required. After the successful installation of these two extensions, restart your Visual Studio Code Editor. The moment you reinstall a GitHub Copilot Editor, you may be able to see the GitHub Copilot option in the bottom side, which means you have installed GitHub Copilot successfully and you have activated GitHub Copilot successfully in the Visual Studio Code Editor. Okay. If you are a student, you have 30 days. If you're a student, you have 1 year GitHub Copilot extension is free. The only one you have to provide is you have to provide your college email ID in order to get that privilege of GitHub Copilot. If you're a working professional, you can use GitHub Copilot for 30 days free trial period. If you are want to acquire the GitHub Copilot for an individual, for every month you can pay $10 to get the GitHub Copilot individual license. The licensing part I will be discussing at the end of the session. So these are the steps as I mentioned earlier. The one is you have to install the GitHub, install that Visual Studio Code Editor, search for the extension view GitHub Copilot plugin as well as your GitHub Copilot chat plugin, search for it. After you successfully install those two extensions in the Visual Studio Code Editor, restart your Visual Studio Code. Once you restart the Visual Studio Code, again you have to open the Visual Studio Code Editor. You may be able to see the GitHub Copilot icon will be activated in the bottom of the Visual Studio Code Editor screen. So after this, 1 million developers started using GitHub Copilot. Okay. So GitHub Copilot in the initial time of your June, July month, almost 1 million developer communities started using GitHub Copilot. And if you notice the statistics information, 88% developers are used GitHub Copilot for the faster completion in order to save their time and efforts for the repetitive task as well as for the manual work. Okay. And almost 60% of the job role has been satisfied. They started using GitHub Copilot as a statistics information. So in terms of language support, your Python, JavaScript, Ruby, TypeScript, Go programming, your Java programming, .NET programming, C# programming supports GitHub Copilot. So what are the editors support GitHub Copilot? Visual Studio Code Editor, JetBrains Editor, your Vim Editor. These are the editors supported GitHub Copilot. Framework support, your Angular, React, Vue.js. These are the popular frameworks supporting GitHub Copilot for the developer AI pair programming partnership with GitHub Copilot. So let's see the first demo. As I mentioned, the first demo is on the GitHub Copilot environmental setup. The first and foremost thing, go to the account section, sign in with your GitHub account. The once you sign with the GitHub account, it will be asking your username and password, and it will ask for the device ID verification. Once it is done, allow your GitHub Copilot with the help of your GitHub Copilot extension. So then install these two extensions, GitHub Copilot extension, GitHub Copilot chat extension. You have to install it for the GitHub Copilot. Once the installation is successfully done, you can restart your Visual Studio Code editor. Once you restart the Visual Studio Code editor, you can see the GitHub Copilot icon will be activated in the bottom. So this is all about the environmental setup of GitHub Copilot. The second demo is the GitHub Copilot shortcuts. So what are the GitHub Copilot shortcuts are there is, the first is you can just type hash. So I'm going to use the Python editor. So Python I'm using. So I'm typing print the hello method. Hello message. If you want to accept this message, use tab key. Tab key is used to accept the messages. So I have accepted it. If you don't want to accept this message, use escape key. Escape key is used to reject that suggestion. And if you want to get the top 10 suggestion, use control enter. Control enter is used to get the top 10 suggestions of GitHub Copilot. And the third shortcut key is if you want the previous suggestion, use Alt close square bracket. Alt close square bracket says that your previous suggestion, your next suggestion is Alt open square bracket. So these are the shortcut keys of GitHub Copilot. The main shortcut we will be using is your tab key. It is used to accept the suggestions. Your escape key is used to reject the suggestion, and control enter is used to get top 10 suggestions. So other than this, if you want to get the help of your, for example, I want to get the help of, okay, let's say, I want to get the help of GitHub Copilot chat. You can see the GitHub Copilot chat I already installed it. So for that, use Control I. Control I is used to get the GitHub Copilot chat suggestions. With the help of your forward slash, you can see doc. Doc stands for if you want to add any documentation comments, use doc. And if you want to explain a particular section of the code, use /explain functionality. If I want to fix any particular problem, use /fix to fix a problem. If I want to generate any unit test cases, use /test. These are the 4 functionalities which will help you to make your GitHub Copilot chat even more effective, even more productive. So let's see one by one. So I'm saying print the hello message. I have accepted it. Now it is also populated just to save it. And let's execute it. Python. So fine. We'll able to execute this particular code. Similarly, I want to use Control I. I want to explain this. I don't know anything about this one. Let's explain this. So GitHub Copilot started thinking, and it is giving the complete information about this line. That is a functionality of /explain. You want to add something, some documentation part. You want to add some documentation comment for this particular symbol, you can check that. So there is a documentation comment. If you want to add it, you can add it. What type of documentation comment you want to add it, you can add it. So accepting or discarding is your option. So accepting is your tab option, and your discarding is nothing but your reject option. I'm discarding this. I don't want this. The next demo, we will see about the GitHub Copilot, how it will improvise in terms of Python programming. That's the next demo. So I'm going to write. So this is your comment. Okay, create a Python class. I'm writing a prompt. Create a Python class named as employee with the fields first name, last name, and salary. Display. So after this, display all the values using show employee details. So I have written the prompt. So automatically it is suggesting now. So this prompt is converted into codes, which is called as context aware suggestions. So accepting this. So I didn't write any constructor or else any thing. So constructor, it is used to initialize the values because I'm asking first name, last name, salary, and display all the values using the show employee details method. So there's a constructor and there's your method. And this is nothing but you are creating an object. I'm creating an object called emp1 and the class name is employee. I'm passing 3 values. Then I'm calling the function with the help of employee1 dot show employee details. That's it. So it will automatically simplifies our efforts. The only one thing it is, I have to spend time on the comments rather than writing the code. But accepting or rejecting the code, it's still in the developer's hand. So that's what this GitHub Copilot exhibits the quality of the AI pair programming. The next is how this GitHub Copilot, you may able to use it in the machine learning. That's our fourth demo. If I want to show the fourth demo, let's say I'm going to perform some of the machine learning demo. Let's say import pandas library. So I'm writing like this. So it has provided the suggestions, accepted it. Load the data frame, the Titanic.csv. So it is loading. So print the data frame. Okay, I'm accepting this. I don't want this. I will remove this. Okay. Now you can see. So even for machine learning algorithm, if you want to build any model with the help of machine learning model, we can make use of your GitHub Copilot. That is possible. If I want to print the first 5 rows, head method. If I want to print the last 5 rows, tail method will be there. If I want to print the first 10 rows, head of 10. Last 10 rows, head of tail of 10. Shape method will use total number of rows and columns. I accepted it. So likewise, you'll be able to build your machine learning model with the help of your GitHub Copilot. And if you want to go for a chat section, for example, Control I press it. For example, I'll purposely given wrong spelling. Okay. So let's say Control I / fix this. So it is asking the question, do you want to check it in the chat? So this is an option it has to fix because it's a wrong usage. So we have to fix it. So seems there should be a code issue. So you have to say the code issue. The code issue is the spelling mistake. So those type of fixing your method functionality, it is possible when you go with your GitHub Copilot chat. So code completion, it is easier task when you go for GitHub Copilot. And error corrections, it is easy to fix it with help of /fixes /testers. And your code refactoring, if I want to restructure any of your code fixes, it is easy to do when you go for GitHub Copilot option. And you just to provide the comment, those comment is converted into your code generation model with help of code completion tools. And if any errors or any debug thing, if you want to fix it, you can go for error corrections. And if you want to restructuring your code, you can go for code refactoring. Code refactoring is possible with the help of GitHub Copilot. And navigation will becomes very easy when you go for GitHub Copilot. Okay, it could be GitHub Copilot, code generation, or GitHub Copilot chat, or else even GitHub Copilot for lab. There is an extension called lab extension for testing purpose. And this GitHub Copilot, you can integrate with most of the tools, most of the editors. Integration becomes very easy. And collaborating the GitHub Copilot tools with your teams will become easy task because once a team started utilizing the GitHub Copilot, this will all automatically enhancing the code quality and it will boost the code developers productivity as well in terms of collaboration. So how all these are possible is like improving the code workflow, code productivity is without understanding the prompt, it is not possible. So prompt engineering plays a vital role in GitHub Copilot because if I want to craft any prompt in your coding language, prompting is a very important technique. And this prompting technique, which is going to leverage the complete power of AI tools like Copilot, GitHub Copilot, or any type of Copilot is concerned because you are asking a question, your ask is your input. Input is nothing but the prompt, and it is able to provide a detailed response that is the result in terms of prompt engineering. So to understand a prompt engineering, so let me provide an example. So there's an example. I have a pack of breads. So those breads I'm giving to the robot. The robot will start giving one slices to the four member in a chair, and those remaining stuffs can be put equally to all the people among the table. So these type of instructions I have given as a prompt to illustrate the importance of prompt engineering in an effective manner. So in order to practice any prompt engineering with the help of GitHub Copilot, always you have to provide your high level context. When I say high level context, so be precise, make sure that the context should be in a clear manner. You have to type your prompt. So provide some specific examples or detailing like one-shot learning, few-shot learning, or zero-shot learning. Zero-shot learning in the sense you're not providing an example. So one-shot learning in the sense you're providing a high-level task description to a particular prompt, that is your one-shot learning. And if you're able to provide a few examples to your prompt engineering, which is called as your few-shot learning. So using GitHub Copilot, you may able to correct your code suggestion. You may even you can improve your code suggestion and you can fix the error also possible. So always ensure that keep your GitHub Copilot version repository updated. So once the repository is updated, always you have require a restart in order to make sure that your GitHub Copilot you're using the recent version. Always collaborate with your team. Don't work on silos. When you use GitHub Copilot or the prompt engineering tools, don't work on silos. Collaborate with the team in order to improvise your code productivity as well as developer acceleration. So licensing part, as I mentioned earlier, if you're a student, it is completely free. If you are an individual, you have to pay for $10 per month. If you are a business, $19 per month. Okay. So this is about your GitHub Copilot pricing model. So there is always one question people used to ask, like ChatGPT was GitHub Copilot. Okay. So ChatGPT, it is you are typing your prompt and the relevant response is coming in your ChatGPT because it uses the advanced natural language prompt to generate that result. That is your ChatGPT. But GitHub Copilot, it learns the user coding pattern based upon the question, based upon the prompt user is typing. According to that particular prompt only, the GitHub Copilot answering your prompt and it is providing the detailed response. Your GitHub Copilot, it is especially used for the code generation. Your Chat GPT, you may ask for code generation, you may ask for image generation, you may ask for text summarization, different capabilities your Chat GPT can summarize it. So these are the famous use cases of GitHub Copilot. You may able to use in web development, data science, machine learning, backend development. You can use it. Mobile app development. You can use GitHub Copilot as a code generation model. So this is one of the excellent certification the Microsoft is providing for free to understand the GitHub Copilot fundamentals. You can scan the QR code to get that understanding of GitHub Copilot fundamental certification provided by Microsoft. So that's it. Over to you, Rizwan. You can connect me on LinkedIn, guys, if any questions.
Thank you, Janarthan. Actually, I must say your session was quite comprehensive, starting from how to install, then we can use command or comment prompt engineering to generate the code. Then also you shared about the licensing model, uh, also prompt engineering. So quite fantastic. I believe audience will enjoy this session. There are few questions coming for you from the audience. I would like to share those questions with you. So most of the question I think you already covered. Is it free? So earlier already mentioned by Mr. Janarthan, the solution is free for sorry, GitHub Copilot is free for student but not for individual or professional. Apart from that, there is another question: how accurate the code is? Can we use in the production? So what's your thought on this, Janarthan?
Okay, so I'll answer to this question, Rizwan. So it is it in the production, is the code is useful or not? Still, it is in the developer's hand. So we cannot blindly believe that code generation because it's a model. Okay, we cannot accept the whatever the code is generated by the GitHub Copilot or any of the Copilot is concerned. So accepting or rejecting that particular suggestion is still in the developer's hand. So you have to review it whenever you are going for production. You should not accept blindly.
That's true, I believe, because when we as a developer write a code, we write it either we search it from the Google or somewhere, and based on that we write those code. No, so if we are writing those code, it is our decision whether it is correct or production ready. Is there any security vulnerability? So we need to decide as a developer. Another question is it same as a GitHub Copilot chat? So GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot chat, these are same. This comes under same license, I guess. But can you tell me the difference about these two, Janarthan?
GitHub
There is a
Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat. So GitHub Copilot Chat will provide you that detailed documentation related to your code experiences. And GitHub Copilot extension, whatever the comment you are providing, those comment will be converted into the context-aware code.
right. Another one question is there. I must share with you. Is it going to replace developers or developers' job?
So this is one of the excellent question. Okay.
Mhm.
So it will not replace the developer's job, okay? It will change the way of work. The way what you do earlier, it will change the way of work. The repetitive task has been minimized. Your manual efforts has been minimized. You can still concentrating on the other coding activities rather than you are bearing your heads for a smaller task. It will
Yes,
not replace.
I would like to add some additional point here. As a developer, those who are experienced developer, they know already, like most of the code they write, those are repetitive code, but we cannot remember all the coding lines, every functions, what the steps we have to follow. So we have done those things within our several years of experience, but still when we have to write another line of code, again we do go into Google, search it, copy it, and we refactor it according to our experience. So that will be minimized. Now you don't need to go into Google and search that again the answers and come and copy paste, but you can directly write a comment. It will give you the suggestions, pick whichever you like and comment. So this is the what our new way of development is going to be.
So that's what we
uh,
used to call it as a everyday AI companion.
yeah,
It's your friend.
everyday AI, and this is I think this is where now our world is moving. AI has already become a kind of major part of this our activities. Another one question is here: how can we use ChatGPT with GitHub Copilot?
See, ChatGPT. It will as for your code generation, your image generation, your text capability. You can make use of ChatGPT. But GitHub Copilot, whatever user coding pattern experiences are there, based upon the user coding pattern experiences related to the programming language, related to the framework you being used, it will help you that coding helping assistance, or you can call it as AI assisted pair programming. Your chat GPT, it is completely different. Chat GPT has image generation model, chat GPT has text generation model, chat GPT has speech generation model, video generation model. I can say it is a multimodality. Your multimodality is your chat GPT, and your GitHub Copilot is only your AI assisted pair programming tool.
Yes. Yes, that's also my thinking. The chat, this GitHub Copilot is specific for developers only for writing the code. We cannot use it for like other purpose. But ChatGPT comes with, I think it is versatile. It can work for every domain. All right. Another one question is that this is also a kind of, I'm laughing on. Is it going to kill the developer skills?
No, it will bridge the skill gap between the developer skills. So if I'm a pre-sales person, I may not have time to learn the SQL coding. Okay, but still I have to represent my complete leadership team. If you put some prompt related to SQL prompt, the code will be automatically generated. So I have to calculate my acceleration time, and I have to calculate my the coding experience time. For a one developer, if one developer spends this much of time on coding, if they can use this GitHub Copilot, it will automatically improve the code productivity, as well as you can make use of your innovation thought process to maximize the effort being used to invest. You can invest more time on the other coding experiences rather than for a minimal task. It will not replace. It will not
Yes,
skill your skill gap also.
I believe it is 100% what Janarthan is saying is accurate, and I can add some additional there. Like it is just helping us to use our time effectively instead of spending time on searching of several blocks, getting same code and writing. And additionally, even we will be able to write program in some of the programming language which we don't know. For example, if I am expert with the C sharp but still with the basic knowledge of Python, I will be able to write a code using GitHub Copilot because I need to write the comment properly. I need to have that development skill, but coding can be generated using GitHub Copilot. So that's all. I see the no more questions. Thank you for such a wonderful session by Mr. Janathan. It was completely eye-opening session, a comprehensive and end-to-end of GitHub Copilot, how starting from installation to use it. Thanks you once again. Now I would like to invite Mr.